Good evening, everyone. It's me, Chris Bones, and this is the Daily Dose of your Skeptical Weasel podcast. Now, fellow weasels, I've been thinking a lot recently about how the last 5 years have panned out, and I think I was right all along. Now, granted, it wasn't the lizard man in control of the liberal media, but I was damn close. How does the world expect us to move on knowing we've been lied to all these years? Now we've got Bigfoot moving in down the road, Mothman's got his own damn chat show, and mermaids are pricing out our fishermen of a fucking honest day's work here. We can't let O.M.E.N or their fancy smancy angel lady, more like a demon if you ask me, play you all for fools. All this magic, all these hooey-fooey changes, we're going to have a price to pay here, brothers and sisters, let me tell you, and we've got to stop it. It's time to take back the earth for humanity, and there's definitely a place in it for the Skeptical Weasel podcast. Now, please, remember to leave a review, comment, and support me on my Patreon so I can pay my 17 ex-wives all the alimony, and check out all the bonus content we have on Patreon.
It has been almost 5 years since the events of Cairo, where the Vampire Empress and a horde of blood-sucking alien bugs attempted to wipe out humanity. 5 years since the truth about magic, monsters, and omens' place in the world were revealed to the general public. Nowadays, magic and monsters are an everyday occurrence, and O.M.E.N is under more scrutiny than ever before. 5 years ago, empowered by his Void Crowbar and the energy released by the theft of the Black Gemstone from O.M.E.N HQ, Koala Jackson was teleported to another world, where he spent 3 years training and learning the true power of the Void. In a brief moment of lucidity, Koala managed to escape from his extensive training montage. He accidentally ended up teleporting to Jacksonville, Florida, where he spent 2 years working as a lawyer-stroke-drug addict, surrounding himself with the strangest of peoples. We join Koala and his team of men who happen to live in Florida, as he beats a man to death with his own skateboard. Nelson, can you explain why this man deserves to die?
I've been forced to explain why people deserve to die too often, but the general aspect here is that I am so tired. I'm so tired, and I remember Tony Hawk's Underground, and in Tony Hawk's Underground there's this character named Eric Sparrow, and he's your best friend, but then he sets a drug dealer's car on fire and forces you to give your hot steaming nuts to cops to survive on the streets of Manhattan, and then when the cop has a boot on his neck, he eggs him on, and then he forces you to commit electoral fraud and drive a car into a ocean, and then you get arrested in Moscow, Russia, after knocking out a bunch of people in the Kremlin because he decides to steal a tank, and your main character is an idiot who decides to ride along, and he crashes the tank into the Kremlin in Red Square, and then he runs, and then I'm in prison, and then I'm doing human trafficking to get favors to leave. Like, Tony Hawk's Underground is a really weird name, and Koala Jackson is in a very strange place because through the haze of amphetamines and legal briefs that he has consumed earlier this day, he sees a smooth-faced garbage boy who looks like Eric Sparrow. Eric Sparrow is... When I think about Eric Sparrow, my heart constricts and my face gets flushed, and I feel this energy roll from my shaking hands up my arms and into my chest, into my heart, and it's beating, and I feel this energy to tear and hurt and destroy it. I see Eric Sparrow just walking down the street. He's got the skateboard in his hands. He's not even using the skateboard. He's just standing and walking with it. So, as a lawyer, knowing section 432 subclause C of the Florida Legal Code, I know the stand your ground clause. I would like to stand in front of Eric Sparrow in a flashback sequence in a patch of concrete that he is about to pass, and I'd like to roll to declare myself a sovereign nation.
Okay. What would you roll for that? Joel, you're the expert in this system. What would you roll for declaring yourself a sovereign nation?
I guess charm.
Yeah, go for it. Roll for charm.
There's nothing charming about this declaration. Much like the original founders of America, this is a agreement made in fire and blood and in my continued right to own slaves if I so choose.
All right, go with. Can you roll 2d6 for me, please, and then add your weird.
So I got I got an 8 altogether.
All right then. You stand on the concrete, and what do you say?
This is the state of Koala, Jacksonville, Florida. And then I take the skateboard out of his hands, and I drag him into my sovereign state, my sovereign nation, which I guess is technically taking a political hostage.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. So tired, Sean. So I just hit him really hard with the skateboard. Then I drag his body back into the... He falls on the ground, and he falls outside of Koala, Jacksonville, Florida, so I have to drag him back into sovereign space.
Jesus Christ.
I just had to keep hitting him. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of... That one time I played Tony Hawk's Underground at OMEN HQ. I don't have friends. And I'm hiding from... this crowbar that sounds like my dad. And I've missed out on the Popeye's chicken sandwiches. I didn't eat any of them. And I'm just kind of going at it. I'm really going at it. His face, his skull, the end of his spinal column lies within Koala, Jacksonville, Florida, but the pieces of it are no longer there. Most of them.
Jesus Christ.
And it's not because I hate him. It isn't out of hatred. There's some absurdity to it. There's some frustration, but it's mainly because I'm so tired, and right now, this makes sense.
You drop the bloody skateboard on the floor, and you turn around, and you see...
If I drop it, can I make it very clear that I drop it within Koala, Jacksonville, Florida, so that
of course,
police cannot seize it as evidence?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, of course. You do that, and then you turn to see your 4 merry men? Florida men? Men who live in Florida? The people who you have busted out of jail, been their
Jacksonville
lawyers...
Jackoffs.
Yeah, alright. The Jacksonville Jackoffs. And you, in your blood haze, have completely forgotten their names and their personalities and characters.
But I have remembered the name that we came up one night when we were drunk.
Yes, absolutely. So now is a good time to introduce the 4 other characters we're going to have on this crazy journey. So I guess we'll start with Andreas.
This isn't an uncommon occurrence for us.
Absolutely not.
So we have a code word when I've forgotten their names. So I shout Power Rangers very loudly, and then they introduce themselves.
I sigh, and then I go, all right, I'm Aloysius Pumpernickle. I'm your hacker friend, sorta. I got a van full of old hypnospace terminals. I used to surveil the government and look out for the monsters that are out there. And I don't remember anything past the 5 past years or so. I think.
And shall we go to Shannon?
My name is Irving Sellers. I say it like really inappropriately loud. And I'm.
What is your color?
What? What's my color? Red, like blood.
Yeah. Okay.
I've strangled 12 different gators to death. That's primarily what I'm known for. And I have a big knife.
I used to have a big knife.
I just stare at Koala. That's all I say.
We then move on to Joel. Continue.
Yeah. So I'm standing there, and I'm just covered in my own filth and juices. I refuse to take baths. I'm just waiting for my father to bathe me, and I just want to point out, because I never Koala forgot that I don't want to fuck animals. Okay, a lot of people think that. I just want to be loved. Anyways, I'm Phil Collins. I'm Phil Collins, and as we all know, I'm named after my father, who was in a Phil Collins cover band.
He's leaving out his last name again, Koala.
Fine. Well, I mean, it's just I want to be closer to my dad. So I'm Phil Collins Ramirez, but that's my mother's last name because we don't really know my father. I like to do magic and stuff like that. And I've pretty much only ever lived in Orlando, Florida, and I'm pretty certain that my father, Phil Collins, the gorilla, is trapped in. Well, my chosen father, because clearly Phil Collins is the gorilla from the Cadbury egg commercial, and that was the only real live footage of him playing. So I just really want to get close to the animals, and I'm wearing a lot of clothing, and I have a backpack full of off-brand and some shitty Disney like memorabilia and trinkets and stuff like that. And I like to do magic, but once again, I don't want to fuck animals.
Thank you for that one. And now we're going to move finally on to Shelby. You didn't get to play with us last season, so I felt bad about that. So we brought you on this time.
No, I'm so excited.
So who are you?
Hey, I'm Kaiser Permanente. I've been arrested 47 times. Ain't none of those times my fault. Koala, you need any help killing this guy?
I mean, you could. His foot. It's really hard to fit all of him inside of Koala Jacksonville, Florida. Could you kind of break his legs and roll them like a fruit roll-up?
Yeah, man, you got it. I pull up my shotgun and I shoot his legs.
Okay.
I rolled a 3. That's 3 harm, close, messy, but I don't know what.
Well, it's a corpse. So, it's a corpse. So I mean, I'm going to just say, you sufficiently splatter them in a way that would allow them to be turned into a fruit roll-up.
Fruit roll-up legs, my specialty. That's called shotgun origami.
I'm going to say at this point, Koala, you get a weird feeling. You get the feeling of desiring certain amphetamines. And the only place to go get those amphetamines is behind the back of the KFC.
Now, when God talks about my predilections, he makes it sound like I'm just doing that garden variety shit, which I'm not.
Oh.
I have taste. I take the same noble heritage of amphetamines as was used by World War II bomber pilots to stay awake and kill Nazis. And if there's anything I believe in, as someone who lives in Florida now, it's in killing Nazis. Thank you. I'd like everyone to clap now, please. Please clap.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go to KFC.
You have to do that speech every time.
I'm gonna be honest, the speech gets better for me every single time it happens.
Koala, you always get like this when you need amphetamines. Let's go.
The group of you walk to the KFC and you go around the back, and there, standing there, is not the normal man you expect. There's a man there, and he is wearing a great, long, flowing, ominous black robe, and his skin is a deathly white. And he looks at you all, and he goes, "Hello there, Koala. It is I, Jerry, from the moon."
Have we met this guy before?
No. You've never met Jerry from the moon before. At least you don't think you have.
I trust Jerry from the moon, though. I've met a few moonmen, and this dude seems legit.
So, I have... Okay, so when I'm separated from my crowbar, do I still have the power of telepathy?
Yes.
Okay, I want to, I would like to telepathically read a bad situation using telepathy.
Right.
And what would I roll for that?
That is sharp.
Is it sharp? Okay. No, it's weird for him because he's got telepathy.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, okay. So instead of reading a bad situation,
2d6 plus your weird.
it says I can either read people's thoughts and put words in their mind. So what I'm going to do is read his thoughts accidentally while putting in his mind. You're going to give me the juicy goosey for half off today.
Okay.
And I roll a 5
roll plus weird.
2, that's 7.
Mixed success.
Okay. Mixed success. You try to convince him to give it you half off with a mixed success. He's going to give you a quarter off today.
Okay.
You've managed to convince him in his brain. You've seeded a half, but then you didn't quite get the number right, so you got 1/4 rather than one tooth.
I love how the more disastrous I am, the more difficulty I have with fractions.
Yes, exactly. And as you are reading his mind, you can tell that he's got a mission for you and your little team, and the mission must be taken. He is desperate for you guys to take this mission on.
Okay, so on one hand, I have almost like, in any interaction in life. On one hand, I have affected him and everyone in the vicinity by killing a man with a skateboard on sovereign territory.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, he's also affected me by getting his brain onto my shoes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is all within a context in which I can understand it. So I putting on my best I'll take this mission voice, my best Florida person voice. I say, okay, so you sure you can't do half?
Fuck me. He looks at you with his almost like the kind of almost alienish eyes, and he stares at you for a second and goes, "Koala, I'll give you the stuff for half price if you do a mission for me."
Usually when I used to do missions, I got that stuff for free, bro.
All right then, I'll give you some of it for free as a taster, as long as you can do the thing for me.
I look back at them, putting a hand to my mouth on the wrong side so it's actually pointing towards him, and say, I'm gonna take the taster, I'm not gonna do it.
Koala, don't listen to him. He's not from the moon. The moon doesn't exist. It's invented by the government.
The moon is a CIA plant. It's a crisis moon. It's a crisis actor moon.
It's
It's
a
not
space
real.
station, not a CIA plant. Come on.
How far are we from Koala Jacksonville, Florida?
It's just down the road. It's like 2 blocks away.
So, I know we haven't practiced this, but how would y'all feel about, because there's 4 of you, 4 of us? How many is it? There's 4. There's a number of people here.
5 of you.
What if you all grabbed one of his limbs and we took him to Koala Jacksonville, Florida for a second? How does everyone feel about that?
We get to get high, right?
Yes. We will get very high if we take him to Koala Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah, I walk up and
You're the boss.
I grab one of his arms before anyone else says anything.
I take his
Okay.
shoe.
Okay, so I'm going to say that you guys are going to have to roll for this. Who's going to be the first person to grab them?
That's gonna be me.
Sounded like Jewel.
Okay, roll to kick some ass.
All right, and I have a +1 for tough. Ooh, I got a tan.
Yes!
Okay, alright then, fine. Alright, you grab their foot and they immediately flip over on their ass. And they go, "Hang on a second, what are you doing?"
So there's several ways to define tasters according to my experience, and the way I define a taster is we get to taste a little of everything that you currently have on you once we bring you back to Koala Jacksonville, Florida. Move out, Power Rangers!
Is everyone else grabbing, or is it just me?
I'll move in to grab, yeah. Do we need to roll?
I think at this point he's on his ass. He's confused. All right, you all pick him up and you grab him, and you're carrying him down the road. And he goes, "Koala, if you do this thing for me, you can get as many drugs as you want."
Ooh, as many.
If there's one thing I've learned about as a lawyer, it is the value of short-term gratification.
Now, Koala, listen to him for a second. I like the sound of a lot of drugs.
Okay, I will listen to him while we are continuing to. Shoot. Okay, there's something we need to figure out once we get there, but we'll figure it out later. Tell me what about all the drugs? All the drugs ever?
All right, Jerry, you got 10 seconds before we get to Koala Jacksonville, Florida, and you have that amount of time to explain and tell us why we should not kill you and take all your drugs.
We've discovered it. We've discovered the head of Walt Disney. You know the ancient sayings, right?
As soon as he says the head of Walt Disney, I drop the leg that I'm holding, and I look in awe.
I would like to pick up the leg that was dropped and continue escorting him down the road.
Who's Walt Disney?
Walt Disney, the original designer of Disney World.
No, I'm lost.
Kaiser also has kind of like a 1,000-yard stare when thinking about Disney.
Yeah,
World.
I move my various layers of t-shirts and sweaters that I have on, and I'm just like ripping through them too, and they shred just as easy as wet paper. And then I show a birthmark on my chest that I've also with all the dirt on me, I've like kind of turned into a portrait of Walt Disney that we all know has been there since I was a child. I start to tell Koala, I'm like, no, I keep telling you this is where all the power is, and it's in his head, and the rumors were that he froze his body, but we all know they didn't freeze his head, and his head is still active, and it has all of the magic of the Disney Kingdom inside
Listen,
of it.
I know the pledge. The Mickey Mouse Club March, and there is nothing in there about a frozen head. All the lyrics are can you put a long beep here while I say something that would be copyrighted by Disney? And none of those lyrics are about frozen heads or not having drugs right now.
Well, you gotta think about this, man. Of course they wouldn't put it in the Mickey Mouse theme song. That is owned by the man, by Disney himself.
Exactly.
He would not
Who did
put the secret
prophecy?
in the song.
Who said these ancient sayings?
We were so close to finding the head, and then they brought out that film, Frozen. And now when you search for Walt Disney's frozen head on Google, you get some really fucked up shit.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
And we can't find it anymore.
You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You don't need to be
Yeah.
judgmental. Anyway.
You did show me that video. I really didn't like it.
I liked it.
Why is nobody telling me who Walt Disney is? I'm so confused.
And I just point to my chest again.
We found it, guys. We need you to go and find him, and he will grant each of you one of his special magic wishes.
How many special magic wishes does he have?
I guess 5.
One per person. I guess it's
I was gonna say,
five.
yeah,
Is he
we
lying?
both of us have suspicious mind.
So if someone lies to us, we know it. Like, no roll needed.
From what you can tell, he is not lying.
Ooh.
They have found what they like. This person believes that they have found Walt Disney's head, and that it will grant you guys wishes.
What about the drugs? Is he telling the truth about the drugs?
Absolutely, prime grade A drugs would be available to you, were you to find Walt Disney's frozen head.
Oh, I'm ready.
Do we get some drugs to start though?
Oh yeah, no, he's absolutely willing to give you some.
I believe he was offering that initially. Can we? Okay, so I want to say to everyone, hold it real quick. At this point, the thing we're carrying can see the only current occupant of Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. And I want to get on my knees and I want to pray to God and say, all right, so this guy, will we still get all the drugs if we kill him and do the job? Like, if we do the honest thing and the bad thing, can I get both?
Are you expecting an answer from God?
I'm expecting an answer from the British voice that occasionally sounds in my head and feels like the equivalent of a god for me.
The British God? Oh, me, then, yes. You hear British God in your head. The British God goes, Yeah, all right. Yeah, you probably get those.
Take him to Koala Jacksonville.
And Jerry goes, "No, God, please." I assume you all murder him.
Do we get any information on where like the head is?
Oh, yes. He should probably give you some mission messages before.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Koala. Koala, you know I'm not one to question you, but I think we should hear a little bit more about this situation.
can we do this within Koala Jacksonville, Florida, so that no one else can get the information or
I
use
mean,
it?
of course. Yeah, that's the only smart
'Cause
decision.
Right now, this information just belongs to America. This place is really weird. You know, anything goes here. Koala Jacksonville, Florida is an ordered society, though.
It's a single block of concrete.
So take him
It's not
there.
a cone of fucking silence.
Kaiser, can you please give me the fruit roll-up maneuver just so we make sure that everything here is kosher legally?
Oh, yeah, you got it. You want me to shoot him now or shoot him later?
Don't shoot me!
Oh, it's just gonna be your legs.
I'm not listening to this guy. You want me? Yeah, it's just gonna be your legs, dude. Don't worry. Don't worry. It don't hurt at first, and it won't hurt later because we're probably gonna kill you. But if you give us good information, we won't. So I shoot him now in the legs.
Oh my God!
So tell us how to do the mission that you want us to do, because we want to do the mission now.
You have to go to Disney World. You've got to go to each of the parks and get a key from every single one of them.
Oh, buddy, I'm banned from Disney World. I can't.
Ooh,
go
yeah, I
back.
definitely. They got my picture everywhere.
Yeah, I can't go back there again. No.
You're gonna have to sneak in, guys. Get a boat and drive up the river to Disney World and sneak in through the river, the boatways.
Yeah, they closed the boatways after back a few months
You're
back.
gonna need to get there, guys. I can't help you. I've got no legs anymore.
Oh shoot. Well, legs don't help you on the boat.
I ain't got a boat.
Everybody knows that.
Is the skateboard still in Koala Jacksonville, Florida?
Yes, of course.
I'd say it's sort of rolled slightly out, but yeah, it's
Because I want to grab it and I want to try to use magic to graft it to the bottom of his legs because he doesn't have any legs.
Oh, that's very
God,
kind
okay.
of you, Phil Collins.
I was just gonna take his legs and use them as like backpack straps. Kind of pull a
I got a
Yoda
10.
here.
Well, you
That
can
sounds
still
really
use
good.
his legs that you shot off for backpack straps.
Okay.
But
okay.
I got a 10 to use magic to try to fuse him to the skateboard.
It would be a rolling backpack. No one's made a rolling backpack. That would make millions.
You got a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happens with this man's lower torso and this skateboard.
Well, I pick him up I pick him up like under his arms and I like hurl him on top of the skateboard and he's screaming in pain. It's terrible. I'm not at all gentle, and also the smell is pungent from anywhere near me, but especially when I'm touching you. It is very it is very just, ugh.
This is not hygienic.
Yeah, and so what I start doing is he's like screaming about his legs, and then I start spitting on his legs, and my spit is turning into kind of a magical bond to where the grip tape is now growing up, and so the bottom part of his legs have kind of this grip tape feel to them as he is now fused to the skateboard.
And I assume at the same time his genitalia is going through the skateboard now, and now it's at the bottom of the skateboard, which is his new lower half.
Well, I mean, I don't know where did his legs get shot off at? Because I kind of imagine he was like they were shot off below the knee.
Oh,
thought
no.
this
That isn't enough to do the
just has a
front roll-up
massive
maneuver.
dong.
Shelby gets to decide. Where did the legs get blown off at?
I'm sorry if you guys want to do something else, but I definitely shot him off right at the waist, so like his entire bottom half is gone.
Okay, perfect.
Just
then. Yeah, so he's
just waist only,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it is gone. So I don't know if y'all want to do anything with genitalia, but that is out of commission.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't need the genitalia. So yeah,
Thank God.
it's just his lower half is now fused with the skateboard, and it's actually, but the magic has like cauterized the wound in a way to where he's not dying from bleeding out.
No, but he is dying from suddenly being a skateboard man.
So I have also, having gone through similar pain, I feel a sense of empathy for this man. Can we all play taps? Well, play the Koala Jacksonville national song. We aren't going to use America's song for brutal deaths, but can we play taps for this man's lower body and also his penis?
I would
What?
prefer not to.
I don't know what to respond to this.
I am saying that we need a funeral dirge to commemorate this before moving on.
I mean, there's no funeral. He's not dead. He's more alive than ever.
I'm not dead.
What about a funeral for his legs?
I laid down my saxophone after what happened last time I played. I'm not touching that thing
I
again.
almost lost my penis in space, and you all know this. This man's lower extremities deserve a proper burial.
You're gonna scoop up the lower extremities and like bury them somewhere.
Oh no, I just mean like I'm going to feel bad about it so that I don't have to feel bad about it later or ever again.
Right. Okay.
Is that what a
makes
funeral is to Koala Jackson? Is just feeling bad for something? We're gonna have a funeral Koala Jackson style. Everybody, push it out of your head and move on.
Yeah.
sense. So,
Okay.
speaking of moving on,
You didn't think that your intro to the actual mission would take 30 minutes and
well,
involve
I
us?
kind of hoped it wouldn't, but I knew it kind of would. There was like, I have to have double think when I'm GMing with Nelson.
Yeah, you're playing with fire.
All I'm saying is, can I at least sing the funeral screech of my people?
Gone.
If you want to be my lover, you're probably already dead. Okay, we can move on.
That was lovely. Thank you, Nelson. We've hit time now, so we'll find out what happens to you all in the next episode of O.M.E.N. I suppose we've started as we mean to go along. I'll see you next time. Bye. The O.M.E.N podcast is powered by Monster of the Week. If you like what you're hearing, please rate us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. You can tweet to us at the hashtag OMENcast, that's O-M-E-N cast, and who knows, maybe we'll name a character after you. Please spread the word about the podcast, every new fan helps. Consider joining our Discord, links are on the Twitter, and if you really like us, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for listening, and remember, stay vigilant. You never know what's out there.